Good day, children. Hope you all are fine. Yes, children, today let us see Unit 4 Supplementary, The Aged Mother, written by Matthew Basho. A very interesting lesson, children. For sure, you will love it. Now, let us go on to the lesson, children. Interesting story. Okay. This Japanese folk tale is also known as the story of the aged mother. It highlights that the aged are sharp-witted. It describes the love and affection a son and his mother have for one another. What is the lesson predicting, children? The story, it highlights the sharpness of the aged people, the knowledge of the aged people. And also it describes the love and affection between mother and son. Now let us go on to the lesson, children. Long, long ago, there lived at the foot of the mountain a poor farmer and his aged widow mother. They owed a bit of land which supplied them with food, and they were humble, peaceful and happy. So, story is very old enough, children. Many years ago, they lived at the foot of the mountain. Foot of the mountain in the sense, the lower part, okay. The lower part of the mountain, they lived a poor farmer and his aged widow mother. They owned a bit of land. This land, it supplied them the food. Son, he used agriculture on the land, children. So what all the vegetable they need, grain and vegetable what they need, they grow their own vegetable and grains. And they led a very happy and peaceful life. The country Shining was governed by a despotic leader who, though a warrior, had a great cowardly shrinking from anything suggestive of failing health and strength. This caused him to send out a cruel proclamation. Now, the country where the mother and son they live, children, the name of that country is Shining. And the leader of this country, though being a warrior, he had a dislike for aged people and sick people. So, despotic meaning in the sense cruel person. And this leader, children, this cruel leader, he didn't like aged people. So his hateness, he caused to send out a cruel proclamation. What do you mean by proclamation? Proclamation in the sense announcement. The entire province was given strict orders to immediately put to death all aged people. Those were barbarous days, and the custom of abandoning old people to die was not uncommon. Now, since this leader, this warrior, he doesn't like old people, he announced a rule saying that all the aged people should be put on to death. And those were barbarous days. What do you mean by barbarous days? Extremely harsh days, where the leader is so cruel. How will the days be happy, children? Obviously, the days also will be harsh days. And the custom of abandoning in the sense, give up completely. So, it was a custom, children, where old people to die, it was not uncommon, which means it was common as people, they grew old, those days people, they kill old people. Why? In the sense, old people, they fall sick and they spread sickness. That's the reason they killed old people. The poor farmer loved his aged mother with tender reverence, and the order filled his heart with sorrow. Now this poor farmer, he loved his mother very much. He loved his aged mother with tender reverence. What do you mean by reverence, children? Reverence in the sense deep respect. Now this poor farmer, it's not only he loved his mother, he also respect his mother. And this order, it filled his heart with sorrow. He felt very sad. This farmer, he felt very sad on listening to this order. But no one ever thought twice about obeying the mandate of the governor. So, with many deep and hopeless sighs, the youth prepared for what at that time was considered the kindest mode of death. Now, mandate in the centurion, an official order. Now, people of the particular people of Shining, no, they didn't make second thought to either think. The moment the order was given, no, with sourness, they had to obey the order. Being an official order, no children, they had to obey an order, and everyone, all the old and aged people, they were killed in the country. And but this farmer alone, he kept thinking twice to thrice. He kept thinking what to do. He couldn't accept the order, so he was thinking what to do. Just at sundown, when his day's work was ended, he took a quantity of unwithered rice, which was the principal food for the poor, and he cooked, dried it, and tied it in a square cloth, which he swung in a bundle around his neck, along with a gourd filled with cold sweet water. So what he did now, he took the rice, he boiled the rice, he dried it, and he tied that rice in a cloth. He also took a jug filled drinking water he filled in the jug. He hung that food bag and water jug in his neck. And also, see children, you can see in the picture how he is carrying his mother. He has tied his mother behind him. Okay. Then he lifted his helpless old mother to his back and started on his painful journey up the mountain. See how he is carrying his mother on his back? He carried his mother, just like a bag. He tied his mother on his back and he carried his mother up to the mountain. You could see him carrying his mother to the mountain. A lovable son and mother, children. It's very nice to see son loving his mother beyond the limit. You must also love your parents, children. Parents are the gift. It's a worthless gift in the world, children. There is you cannot fix the worth of parents. See how he is carrying his mother. How nice of the son, isn't it? Okay, now let us come to the lesson. The road was long and steep. The narrow road was crossed and recrossed by many paths made by the hunters and woodcutters. Now this son, when he was carrying his mother, children, the road was long and steep. Steep, it was very slippery. But even then, he tried to lift his mother. He didn't stop carrying his mother. The roads was crossed and recrossed by many paths. What do you mean by recrossed, children? Many paths. Now see, when we walk on the road, we see one road. But here on the mountain, it had many roads. Now, these many roads, it was made by the hunters and woodcutters. On rocks, you know how roads are made, children. The path that you keep walking, that becomes a road. So, many lines were seen on the mountain. In some place, they lost and confuses, but he gave no heed. On path or another, one path or another, it mattered not. On he went, climbing blindly upward, ever upward towards the high bare summit of what is known as Abashama, the mountain of the abandoning of the age. Now he kept on climbing on top of the mountain. Though many paths were there, he did not give up his hope, children. He went on and on and on climbing on the mountain, on to the top of the mountain that is known as abandoning of the age. This farmer, he doesn't want to kill his mother. So he thought, let me take my mother to the top of the mountain and leave her there. Let her lead her life. As long as she could lead her life, let her lead her life over there. That is thinking this only, he took his mother on top of the mountain. The eyes of the old mother were not so dim, but that they noted the reckless hastening from one path to another, and her loving heart grew anxious. Her son did not know the mountain's many paths, and his returning might be one of danger. So she stretched forth her hand and snapped the twigs from bushes as they passed. She quietly dropped a handful every few steps of the way so that as they climbed. Now, mother, what she did, no children, mother she sold enough, but even then, no, her eyesight was not so poor. She really had a better eyesight, and she could see many paths, crossing one to the other, one to the other. While climbing itself, her son, the farmer, he was confused with many paths over there. Mother, she thought, when my son, after leaving me, when he returns back, he will be confused to return home. So she thought, let me make the way clear to my son. Thinking that, she raised her hands out, and the twigs what came across the way. I mean, the trees that came across her way, no children, she plucked out the leaves from the trees and she dropped on the way. She went on dropping handful of leaves. She went on dropping, so that when her son returned home, no, he will not be confused with the path. The narrow path behind them was dotted at frequent intervals with tiny piles of twigs. At last, the summit was reached. Weary and here sick, the youth gently realized released his burden and silently prepared a place of comfort as his last duty to the loved ones. Gathering fallen pine needles, he made a soft cushion and tenderly lifted his old mother onto it. He wrapped her padded coat more closely about the stooping shoulders, and with tearful eyes and an aching heart, he said farewell. Now, mother, what she did now, I said, children, as she was crossing the mountains, as a son was crossing the mountain, she just pulled out the leaves and went on dropping handful of leaves on the way, so that my son will not get any difficult while returning home. Now, after reaching the top of the mountain, he prepared a bed to his mother with that pine leaves. He prepared a soft bed to his mother. He lifted his mother and placed his mother on the bed, and he wrapped his mother with a warm cloth, and with tear full of eyes. He really doesn't want to leave his mother over there, because he loves his mother to the core. He loves his mother. Even mother also, she loves her son, but they don't want to depart. But because of this foolish order of the warrior, he has to depart from his mother. So he took his mother, he placed his mother on the soft bed, covered his mother with the coat. Then he patted his mother and he said farewell. He said, okay, mother, take care of yourself, I am leaving. With tearful eyes, he bid his mother. The trembling mother's voice was full of unselfish love as she gave her last injunction. Let not thine eyes be blinded, my son, she said. The mountain road is full of dangers. Look carefully and follow the path which holds the piles of twigs. They will guide you to the familiar path further down. Okay. Now, as he said farewell to his mother, mother's voice was trembling. She couldn't tolerate the parting of her son. her eyes blinded injunction, which means an order. She gave an order to her son. She said, don't be blind enough, son, while returning back to home. Don't be blind enough. Look down. I have the path is very it is dangerous path. I have dropped a handful of twigs. Where all you see piles of twigs, you follow the path so that you will reach home safe. And mother said, no, this twigs will guide you. Be no, the path is not familiar to you, but where all you see handful of twigs, you walk on to that path. Safely you will reach home, she said. The son's surprised eyes looked back over the path, then at the poor old shriveled hands, all scratched and soiled by their work of love. His heart broke within, and bowing to the ground, he cried aloud, "Oh, honorable mother, your kindness breaks my heart. I will not leave you. Together we will follow the path of twigs, and together we will die." Now, son, he was shocked to listen what mother said. Shriveled in the sense, children wrinkled. He just saw his mother hands. All her hands were scratched. You might see many scratch in her hands because she was pulling out the twigs, children. So many twigs, leaves, all she was pulling out and dropping on the way. So this caused many scratches in her hands. The moment when the farmer saw his mother's hands bleeding and scratches, his heart broke. He cried loudly in, "Oh, honorable mother." He hugged his mother with kindness and with lots of love in his heart. He said, "No, mother, hereafter I am not going to leave you. Whatever happens, either we shall live together or we shall die together. Come, let us go home. I am not going to leave you here. Let us see what's happening." Okay. Once more he shouldered his burden. How light it seems now, and hastened down the path through the shadows and the moonlight to the little hut in the valley. Beneath the kitchen floor was a walled closet for food, which was covered and hidden from view. Now the son, he said, no, mother, I'm not going to leave you. Come, let us go home. Let us see if if the leader wants to punish us, let him punish both of us. I'm not going to leave you here. Saying that, he carried his mother back home. And he followed the path in the moonlight. He carried his mother once again on his back, and he brought his mother back home. Now coming to home, he was so cautious that no one could see his mother. He tried to hide his mother under the kitchen wall. There is a closet, children. Below in our kitchen room, we have a closet. Closet where we keep food all. So he hid his mother in that closet. There the son hid his mother, supplying her with everything she needed, continually watching and fearing she would be discovered. Time passed, and he was beginning to feel safe when again the governor sent forth heralds. Heralds being an unreasonable order, seemingly as a boost of his power. His demand was that his subjects should present him with a rope of ashes. Now, he hid his mother in the kitchen closet, supplying her water and food, all the necessary things, supplying her, where he was also cautious that no one could come to know that his mother is hidden inside the closet, that is in the shelf of the kitchen. Now, the days pass. After many days, once again this foolish leader, he passed one more demand, saying that his subject should present him with a rope of ashes. Is it possible, children, to create rope of ashes? Is it possible? With ashes, how will you make rope? But that's what king said. The leader said, the shining leader, that's what he said. The entire province trembled with dread. The order must be obeyed, yet who in all shining could make a rope of ashes? One night, in great distress, the son whispered the news to his hidden mother. Wait, she said, I will think, I will think. On the second day, she told him what to do. Now, once again, no, this farmer, he was put up in trouble. He was keeping on thinking how to make a rope with ashes. How is it possible? He was keeping on thinking. And he said his trouble to his mother. Mother asked him, what happened, son? You seem to be troubled. What's the problem? He said, the leader, once again, he has placed another order stating that the people of Shining, they must produce a rope of ashes. Mother said, okay, give me a day time. I'll think and tell you, mother said. On the second day, she told him what to do. Make rope of twisted straw, she said. Then stretch it upon a row of flat stones and burn it on a windless night. He called the people together and did as she said. And when the blaze died down, there upon the stones, with every twist and fiber showing, perfectly lay a rope of ashes. Now, mother said to his son, see son, on a windless night, make a rope of, twist straw. You know what is straw, children? Straw in the sense, grass, no, this dried grass. After the grass dry, it becomes hay. Okay, you could have seen farmers, they make rope with the help of hay. They twist the rope. You would have seen at least, this cow, buffaloes, all they eat hay. In villages, you would have seen, okay. Very difficult to see hay in the city. But anyways, you would have seen farmers, no, they keep, they combine hays together, they twist and they make a thick rope of hay. You would have seen this as you travel to village, children, you would have seen this. Now, mother said to his son, oh son, on a windless night now where there is no wind, at that night, make a rope with this hay, make a thick rope with this hay. And arrange these ropes on the ground, on the flat stone. Not on the ground, on the flat stone. Arrange this rope on the flat stone. Where there is no wind. When there is no wind, fire this rope. When you fire, the rope becomes ashes. And you will see the prints as it is. If only if the wind is there, it will be blown out. Where there is no wind, the prints of the rope, it stays on the ashes. It will be there as it is. Even after the rope is burnt, the print will remain there. You can show this to the leader. The governor was pleased at the wit on the youth and praised greatly, but he demanded to know where he had obtained his wisdom. Now, as a mother said, he did the same way. One particular day where there is no wind on the stony ground, he arranged the ropes and he fired the ropes. After the ropes were burnt, he called the leader and he showed him, see, this is the rope of ashes. Now, looking to this, the governor, he was pleased. He was so happy that he was shocked to see this. How could this young farmer, how did he get this intelligent? How is it possible? He demanded, how did you get this knowledge? He asked him to say the secret. Alas, alas, cried the farmer, the truth must be told. And with deep bows, he related his story. The governor listened and then meditated in silence. Finally, he lifted his head. Shining needs more than strength of youth. Okay. Now, finally, this farmer, he had to say, he has no other go. He has to say what has happened. Finally, he said the truth. He cried and he said the truth. Oh sir, I didn't obey your order. I did not kill my mother. I kept my mother. No, my mother is alive. She is in the kitchen cupboard, and she is the one who has said me this. Um, no, this the way. I mean. This idea was given by my mother. It is not my idea, it is my mother's idea. It is she who gave me this idea, and that is what I did it. And after listening to this, no, only then this governor he understand. Oh, Shining needs not only the young people, it also needs the youth people for wisdom. So wisdom comes from youth. He said gravely, that I should have forgotten the well known saying, with the crown of snow there cometh wisdom. That very hour the cruel law was abolished. And custom drifted into as far a past that only legends remain. So finally, no, he realized what a foolish thing I did. Shining needs not only young people, Shining also needs old people. The wisdom comes from old people. Then, thinking this, no, he totally abolished the law. So from then on, Shining, no old people were killed in Shining country. Old people, they remain. They had their natural death, not that someone killed them. Now coming to the author, children, see, he is the author. Macho Bosho, born in 1644 to 1694, is one of the most famous poet of Japan. He is the poet, actually is a poet. In Japan, many of his poems are seen on monuments and traditional sites. So his poems were printed on monuments, children. On many of the Japanese monuments, you could see this Basho's poem printed. Basho was introduced to poetry at a young age, and he quickly became well known throughout Japan. He made a living as a teacher, but later traveled throughout the country to gain inspiration for his writing. So he became a teacher. He was well known as a poet. Quickly he became a well-known a familiar poet throughout Japan. He became a familiar poet, and later on he started traveling one place to another. That is how people recognized him, and this gained inspiration for his writing. So he really had a good inspiration for his writing, children. Yes, children, I hope you would have understood the lesson. Anyways, do read the lesson. After every teaching of mine, I keep telling you to read the lesson, children. Though you would have understood the explanation of the story, but even then I want you to read the children. I want you to read the lesson. Please read the lesson once, children. It is for your betterment. Do read the lesson, children. Okay. See you in the next class. Bye, children.